Today we would be discussing the poem The Stolen Boat by William Wordsworth. This is an excerpt from his famous poem Prelude. Prelude has been written in forms of several books, almost 14 books, and it is a small excerpt from that poem which is there in our syllabus. Now, in this poem, the poet is talking about an incident of his childhood where he stole a boat and he rowed that boat, and it was a time of evening. And when he came back, how fearful he was out of that experience when he came back and he went back home, how fearful he was of the entire incident, and how that entire incident haunted him throughout his childhood. And if you ask me, the whole poem, The Stolen Boat, is about his childhood relationship with nature. How he used to look at nature, how he used to associate with nature, and how his emotions or his passions were attuned to nature. And most of the time he was looking at nature with an animal passion. He was looking at the exterior form of the nature, and most of the time he could see only what was on the surface of the nature. Like he was happy running in the fields, or he was happy looking at the trees, or he was happy looking at the mountains. Sometimes he was fearful also when he used to see those big mountains. And in this particular poem, he's talking of an incident when he was all alone, and he was wandering here and there. And suddenly he thought of a plan, and he took a boat from a cave which was moved in a cave and which did not belong to him, and he started rowing the boat. And suddenly he's witnessing mountains which are there, and he's almost fear struck by the sight of those mountains. And those mountains are growing every second, and he as well as his little boat, they are moving. And he is boating in a lake, and and suddenly the night is also falling, and he's he's oaring and moving in that lake. While moving in that boat, he could hear voices, and those voices are voices of nature, and it was an act of stealth, so it has a troubled pleasure. And he could hear the voices of mountain echoing, and that echo is again and again. And he does not know how to react to such a situation. And since he is a small child, and he has done an act of stealth, he has a guilty feeling in. And he knows that this he has stolen this boat, and he's now left all alone, and is isolated from the society, though he wants to be in the lap of nature. But this nature which he witnesses, this nature is a strange nature. And with his guilt feeling, he's not comfortable with whatever is happening with him. Now when he says, leaving behind her still on either side small circles glittering idly in the moon, until they melted all into one tract of sparkling light. A rocky steep uprose above the cavern of willow tree, and now, as suited one who proudly rode with his best skill, I fixed a steady view upon the top of that same craggy ridge, the bound of the horizon, for behind was nothing but the stars and the grey sky. So initially he's appreciating, trying to appreciate the beauty of nature, or the falling of night, or the stars above the lake, or the reflection of those stars and moon into the waters of lake, or how they are falling in one line, or they are forming a galaxy into the water, and how he is appreciating it. But gradually he starts feeling uneasy, and now he says that those stars, or the moon which is reflected in the water, does not hold much charm to him later on, because he thinks that the mountain which is beside the lake is growing every moment, and the mountain is sort of following him when he's moving back, or when he's going back. The mountain is following. It is, we can say, the mountain is symbolic of his own guilt, because he has stolen the boat, and as a child he knows that this is not a right act, because that boat does not belong to him. And then he compares somewhere the boat with an elfin Venice. Elfin is the small fairies, and it is like, and the boat is enchanted, as well as the poet himself is taken over by the beauty of nature. And he says, I dipped my oars into the silent lake, and as I rose upon the stroke, my boat went heaving through the water like a swan, when from behind the rocky step till then the bound of the horizon, a huge cliff. Now he could see a huge he could see a huge mountain there, as if, it has a voluntary power instinct. That mountain is a living body, and it has a power inside. And he can see the head of the mountain, and he could see that the head and the whole mountain growing every moment in stature. And it came between him and the beautiful sight which he was enjoying. And suddenly he is trembled, and his hands do not work. He wants to row back, and he's unable to row it back, because he's so much afraid of the big mountain. We could imagine a small child, he's rowing his boat in a lake, and it is time of night, and there are big mountains surrounding the lake, and those mountains are not familiar sight to him. And he feels suddenly left alone, or he feels suddenly with people or with things he's not familiar with. So he is unable to row as well, but he makes an effort, and he rows back. And then he says that in my thoughts there was a darkness, call it solitude or blank decision, no familiar shapes of earthly objects, images of trees, of sea or sky, no colors of green fields, but huge and mighty forms that do not live, like living men, moved slowly through my mind by day and were the trouble of my dreams. So after this episode, he could not sleep for many nights. And he could not associate with nature as used to associate earlier, because nature healed him, or nature gave him love, and he was part of nature, and he was growing up with nature. But this particular aspect of nature made him fearful of nature, and suddenly he realized, if you try to play up, if someone tries to play with nature, nature has a message which in return is given by her. And this was not a right act, or this was not a right conduct William Wordsworth to steal someone's boat and row in night just for pleasure. So this poem is on, if you ask me the theme of the poem, it is at three levels. First is it is, since it is an excerpt from Prelude itself is an autobiographical poem, and this excerpt is about his childhood. So this poem is somewhere telling you of the childhood of the poet, and then we say that it is his own growth from childhood to a young man, and to then an adult or a mature man. So it is an autobiographical, since it is an autobiographical poem, it is a growth of the poet himself, and then how he grows is, first he's growing as a man, then he's growing as a poet, how he used to look at nature with the animal eye or with animal passions, and now later on how he started looking at nature, how every time nature is with him. So that is the third aspect, how his relationship with nature is growing as a child, as a young man, as a man. And then so we can say that his development as a man, or his growth as a man, his development as a poet, and then his own relationship with nature. So these are the three things, how he went through all these three things. It is there in the entire prelude which is written, and particularly this incident is from his childhood. So one more thing which we would see, that the diction which Wordsworth chooses is very simple, and it is meant for the masses, so that everybody could read a poem and everybody could enjoy the poem. And second, we could say he's very didactic. He's trying to give a lesson, or he's trying to give a message to the readers. And since you are undergraduate students, this particular excerpt has been selected for your syllabus, so that you can also identify with nature as a child, or you can identify with the poem and understand it well. So with this, I sum up this lecture of mine, and I expect that you would read this poem and on your own, and would take help of my lecture as well. Thank you.